You said at the beginning of this conversation that there are still some sociological, there are societal issues that afflict our country. Let's imagine if the Prime Minister were to say, Mr. Tata, please lead one specific nation-altering mission. What would you pick, if asked?
First of all, I hope I would never be asked anything like that, because I would not be the kind of person to lead that. I don't think I could answer that off the cuff, and it's too important an issue to give a flippant answer. But I think the way such a thing ought to be done is to be freed of political baggage that often such a thing would carry, and the freedom to the person who is asked to do whatever is necessary to make that happen. Far too often you have a good idea that's squelched because of political or sociological thing. It just cannot be done, or it's too difficult to be done, or it's too risky to be done as such with public funds. And those might be the very things that are necessary to pull a country out of a particular morass that it may be in an area. So I'd like to duck that question of you.
From your vantage point, seeing what you've seen of the trusts, of the relationship that the trusts have with the people and with the holding company, do you believe corporate India has really pulled its weight in the area of philanthropy and involved itself in nation building, like in many other countries where individuals get involved with nation building as well?
I think the only fair answer to that is there have been certain companies that I think would make everybody proud with what they have done, be it in the pharmaceutical area, or be it in chemicals, or be it in areas relating to rural development, which they've done more than they need to do to have a public face. And there are companies who have not. But I think if you go to any country, you would have the same mix.
Same mix.
Companies that are conscious and compassionate about the have-nots in their country, and those who don't care.
Now that you're at arm's length from the operations of the Tata Group, what excites you the most about the group, and what worries you the most, if anything worries you at all?
What excites me is the area we're working at now in trying to transform the trusts, because we're actually, in a manner of speaking, having the same excitement as one did in setting up an industrial enterprise, dealing now with trying to reach people, trying to provide health care.
The National Cancer Grid.
The cancer grid, nutrition. And while the trusts cannot take care of the country, we're setting some footfalls in the sand, which I must say the state governments and the central government, they're all supporting us fully, and I think what we're trying to do is taken as being genuine and honest, and it's very rewarding to see state governments and the center working with us, things that some people would say could never happen.
So that's the trust. What excites you about the Tata, the House of Tata, the industrial bit, and what worries you the most, if anything?
I think it's too hot a question to answer, given what we've been going through in the last several months. All I'd like to say is that I feel that the group is in very able hands with Chandra. And businesses are cyclic, they will have their ups and downs. We have been a group that has worked with companies when they're in peril and brought them up. And I hope we can continue to do that in the years gone by. We will probably, the group will look different over the next 10 years. There'll be companies that were not there earlier, and there'll be companies that were there, not there 10 years from now, because they will not be relevant, or they may have been sold or transferred to another company. So the face of Tatas may change, but so long as there's still the same drive to make this an enterprise or a conglomeration of enterprises that operate with ethical standards and value systems, I think I would feel very proud.
I know you're not the preachy kind and you don't like pontificating, but there are going to be tons of young people watching this conversation. They're going to be watching it on television. They're going to see snippets online. Many, and you know this yourself, many admire the house of Tata, they admire the Tata way of life, and they admire Ratan Tata. If you were to send out a message to these young people who are watching the program today, what would that be? It could be anything. It could be business, nation, whatever.
What I would tend to want to convey is that people should do what they believe is the right thing to do. However, usually that's also the most difficult thing to do. And it's the riskiest thing to do. But if they believe in something, they should pursue it. And they should, like I said earlier, try to make a difference. Not a difference that's disruptive or negative, but a constructive difference. One other thing I would like to add, which sounds politic, but it's not. We as a country, or the citizens of a country, need to get back the pride that we should have, that we are Indians. Not that we're Punjabis or Parsis or Tamils, but that we're Indians first. That we have a country that we belong to and that we should be proud of. We seem to be losing that somewhere.
Why?
I think there are many reasons for that, but I think that can be won back to a sense of pride. We shouldn't have that sense of pride every time we go to war or have a conflict or get attacked by terrorists. It should be there all the time.
And to my mind, Modi's working on that, and he has been working on that.
Yes, he has, absolutely. And he has built a vision of a unified India, and people may disagree with that, but I think that that's what the country needs at this point in time. It needs everybody to rally around the direction that the leaders are giving us. So one hopes that the young of tomorrow will be driven by that to some extent.
So then I won't ask you which was your most despaired moment, as it were.
That's an easier one to answer, because I've always felt the greatest despair I had was when Tatas decided to put Central India Mills, which was what Jamsetji started, into liquidation for, if I recall at that time, it was 50 lakhs of rupees.
Yes.
I thought this was a very un-Tata-like move.